Hi guys, welcome back to my Patreon page. No wait, YouTube channel, sorry. So today we are going to be talking about XO Season 1, Episode 7, which I just watched over on my Patreon page. Okay, so we are almost finished Season 1 and we're heading towards Season 2. And sorry, it's quiet here. Maybe I should just talk quietly. Sorry, I'm just listening to Spotify. Of course, there's advertisements. Listening to the XO playlist. There it is. So this episode was about the repercussions of what happened at the underage party that they had, because they got caught drinking underage, and of course, being in South Korea, minor underage drinking is definitely, it's illegal everywhere, obviously, but like it's a lot more stricter in Asian countries than it is in the Western countries, as you can tell. So that was definitely a no-go. And not only that, but they were having a party at a club, which definitely also is frowned upon. And I'm pretty sure it was a school night too. No, sorry, it was a Friday night. So they had a party there. And then they had Saturday night, not Saturday night, Saturday weekend detention at the school library. And of course, every one of them was there. And then, of course, Professor Lee admitted that it was all Kitty's fault because he received a text message from her drunkenly. She thought she texted Professor Alex. I guess that's Professor Lee too, because we all know that Alex's biological dad is Daniel Lee. And yeah. Obviously, Yuri was trying to, return the necklace back to its rightful owner, which is Kitty. And while she was trying to do that, she found out that Kitty wasn't actually staying in her assigned room with the girl. She was staying with the boys. So that's where all hell broke loose. And so, Yuri was kind of angry at her again and annoyed with her, blah, blah, blah. So she decides, why not wear the necklace to detention to trigger Day and Kitty. And yeah, well, instead of having an argument and whatnot, they realize that Yuri's mum, Principal Lim, was shocked that Yuri was wearing apparently her necklace too, because Eve and Gina wore it when they were younger. So Eve is actually Kitty's mom, who passed away when she was 3, etc., etc. You know the storyline. If you've seen season 3, you find, or if you've seen To All the Boys I've Ever Loved, they've already mentioned that the mother died, but nobody mentioned how long ago she died until season 2 we find out that she died when Kitty was 3, and Kitty's about 16 now, so that was like 13 years ago. What else? Yuri and Kitty both decide to sort of team up together to try to figure out why, Gina Lim, which is Yuri's mom, freak out every time Eve Song, Kitty's mom, gets mentioned at any point. So they of course try to do it during the weekend detention. So them two trying to sneak out, and the entire class trying to, help them sneak out. It was kind of insane, actually. I thought it was pretty awesome that the whole class decided to do that, despite then realizing that Kitty was behind the party getting shut down because she got caught drunk texting Professor Lee. Wrong person to text, by the way, because at least Alex could have probably tried to stop it without getting the entire school in trouble, but I'm pretty sure he would have done that just to save his ass, and because it's the right thing to do. Then we find out something a little bit small that oh right, at the beginning we find out that Kitty had a sex dream. Yes, about Yuri. So that's pretty much where we left off on the last episode and continue to this episode. And she's freaking out. Again, she tries to wake up Q, who's still, sobering up from a hangover, a massive hangover, and tells him about a sex or a weird dream that she has about someone. And he wakes up straight away and was like, you had a sex dream about someone. And again, and of course Minho had to be in the same room and hear all that, and also freaked out because we also found out 2 episodes before, which was episode 5, Minho had a sex dream about Kitty. So what else happened? What's this? What else did we have? So fast forward to Kitty, admitting that she had a sex dream about someone, and had a panic mode because, Q was trying to put 2 and 2 together, saying, oh my god, she had a sex dream about someone, and he's trying to figure out who. And of course, Minho ends up listening and everything, but also is guilty for having a sex dream about Kitty. But he claims it as a sex nightmare if he ever had a dream about her. Not true. That episode was when we realized that Minho has fallen for her. And it's been this long since he's been trying to pine for her. And was brave enough to actually tell her on a plane, even if she just broke up with her boyfriend, which is his best friend. But again, I get brother code and everything, but at least he waited until she broke up with him. And he also just told her. It doesn't mean you have to action anything, but at least think about it, But then, she was dealing with the breakup with Jay, having feelings for Yuri, everything happening, her getting kicked out of Kiss, all this happening. So there's no way that she can automatically add more to her thoughts by saying that she might have some low-key feelings for Minho. Who knows if she's had feelings for him ever since then, but, you never know. But that little smirk kind of made it realize where she's like, oh, wow, he has fallen. He's in love with me. At this point, who isn't in love with Kitty? She's adorable. I totally get that. And, a lot of people are still, hating on her, hating on her character's attitude and everything. But people, you have to realize, she's in high school. Who hasn't acted like that in high school? And her being the youngest in the family. And everyone basically spoiling her. Her dad spoiling her and treating her like she's still a child, even though she's already in high school. And her older sister's always having her back and looking out for her. Again, helping her out in their best way. And then now you've got the stepmom who also probably would have done the same thing. everyone pretty much spoils her and treats her like royalty. So to have Yuri and Minho do the same thing, it's cute. I get, but like at least cute. There's somebody like Q that was like, no, Kitty, you can't have everything your way all the time. The world doesn't revolve around you. I have my own problems too. So you either deal with it yourself or at least be sympathetic or empathetic with my, my problems too. So you've got Q that does that, and apparently Alex too. So it's good to know that she isn't always fully spoiled. Like, I get everyone's frustration over it, but one, it's a fictional character, and two, it's reality. Kids do act like that, especially when they're brought up that way. They can't help themselves because they don't know if it was wrong or right, because they're used to having the whole world revolve around them, because that's how they were treated by family. So of course they're going to just assume that friends are going to do the same thing, especially when Yuri and Minho both treat her that way too. Like, they do it out of the kindness of their heart rather than in caring for her, rather than, thing. Yes, they have their own problems, but at the end of the day, they set aside their problems to help her out. Does she ask for it? No, she doesn't really ask for it. She just tells them about it, which leads them to want to help her out. So yeah, I get people's frustration. I understand other people's frustration, but I also don't understand why they'd react that way. I mean, it's not that deep, people. Like, relax, It is what it is. We can't do anything about it. And blaming Jenny for this is kind of insane too. At the end of the day, I think she's so much similar to her character Belly. Not her character. Jenny has made Belly Fisher. Belly Fisher. What was Belly's actual name? Oh, Belly Cochran, I think. From The Summer I Turned Pretty, and Kitty from To All the Boys I've Ever Loved, and Exo Kitty. She made them kind of similar to each other, Belly's fighting for two boys who happen to be brothers, Jeremiah and Conrad, and Kitty's pretty much got like multiple love interests. Not only Day, Yuri, but also Minho, and she also had Pravina for a bit, and who knows who she's gonna have the next season. Anything can happen. Of course, because you want to add drama to the storyline. Okay, so we're getting carried away again, so let's get back to it. We were talking about that sex dream. So yes, one had sex dream after another of two different people. Kitty had a sex dream about Yuri. Min had a sex dream about Kitty. And season 2, we'll get into Kitty's other sex dream. You'll see what it is soon. And if you haven't seen it yet, then you'll see what it is with me, or you can watch it on your own. Or if you've already seen it, then you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, let's fast forward back to the school detention. Of course, Q had to set up, Professor Lee and say that, that he's interested in the same book as him, blah, blah, blah. That they're in the library, he doesn't need his phones, because all their phones got confiscated during the detention, because it's understandable. It's pretty much how it should be. In my opinion, I think during school hours, except for, recess and lunch, they actually focus on school, and they start, get away from having phones, because let's be real, I actually grew up without the smartphones that we have nowadays. So yeah, and I think that kids this generation, the Gen Alphas or Gen Betas or whoever is in school at the moment, should learn to live without their phones, because they kind of need to concentrate on studies. Like, concentrate on school right now, kids, because education is actually important. up until you finish high school, then you can decide what you want to do, whether you want to go to college or uni or TAFE, whatever you want to call it, or go straight into work. Up to you. Because, you know, some people like to study some more. Good, another 4 years of studies wouldn't hurt. Or if you want to change courses, another 4 years of another course, you name it. But of course, you know, it's your choice right after high school. I would highly recommend kids these days to just finish up high school and then see what you can do in the future. Yeah. So Madison was put in charge during the detention while, you know, Professor Lee was, you know, trying to get a book for Florian. And of course all the drama got down with, you know, Yuri and Kitty trying to plan how to, I guess, take down Gina and try to find out why is Eve's song such a sensitive topic to her. And then, you know, Q and Florian are curious too, so they decide to butt in and decide to, like, you know, figure out what's going on. Then you had Madison and Minho kind of like sitting together, mingling together, blah blah blah. While Day was also seated at the same table, but also, you know, of course, when Professor Lee came in, he took down everyone's lunch orders, and so while Madison was, you know, taking down her own order for herself, Day decides to take an order down for Kitty and him. And yes, he orders, you know, Korean food in Korean language. And Minho, of course, you know, being nosy, starts reading what he's writing. And he's like, no. Kitty has made it clear that she hates mayo. How does he know this? Because she mentioned it. And he really is an expert on Kitty. Only because he just listens to her and he just gets her. Day just doesn't figure it out at all. Like, it's like he doesn't even know his girlfriend. And it's kind of insane. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense. Then fast forward to the end of the episode, which is when they finally got free from detention. They were clear, blah, blah, blah. Yuri decides to throw a stunt between her and Day and pretend to break up for real for the sake of the Paps, so that she can, like, rebel against her mom. Day can be with Kitty, and Day and Kitty had their very first kiss, and it was truly magical. I mean, at one point she was in love with Day, so that's why I shipped them originally, because that's who I thought she was going to end up with the entire time. But I guess the show had other plans, and they ended up making Minho the endgame, so there's that. Anyways, that's the end of episode 7. We'll get into season 1, episode 8. Over on my Patreon, I will be reacting to it. And again, over on this YouTube, I will be recapping the episode next weekend. Bye, have a nice weekend.